Thanks for tuning in, folks, and welcome back to Wham Talk 1600's Operating Theater. It's the only OR in all of talk radio. I'm Dr. Dave Janda, broadcasting from our ancillary bunker linked to our main Freedom Bunker in the People's Republic of Ann Arbor. We're here live for you every Sunday from 2 to 5 Eastern, but it doesn't start and stop on Sundays from 2 to 5 Eastern. We are available 24/7 with priceless content, extra shows, extra guests, extra analysis, archives to all of our shows. The Freedom Light is always on for you at davejanda.com. Stop on by. I promise, there are very few things that are 100% in life, but this is 100%. When you go to davejanda.com, you will not be disappointed, but you will be educated, empowered, with information the bought-off lamestream fake media will never provide. Because as a tentacle of the deep state, that lamestream media is there to keep you misinformed, disinformed, and completely uninformed. Why? Because it makes you an easier target for their puppet masters. The puppet masters being the bankster families, like the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Lazards, the Pinkuses, the Warburgs, the Seifs, the Loebs, and the top of the pyramid, the Paysor family. Those are the puppeteers. And they despise this show and our platform at davejanda.com because we put you ahead of their globalist cult constructed curve that ends in a brick wall with the shattering of your freedoms, your liberties, your future, your life, in our constitutional republic. And with our information and content, we provide you an off-ramp for your freedom. I hope you'll take that off-ramp and stop by davejanda.com many times during the week because we are constantly layering in new content to help people. Bottom line, folks, every week in our operating room, we dissect current events that are impacting you, your family, your business, our community, and our country. Then we bring to our operating room information and guests the bought-off lamestream fake media either ignores because it doesn't fit into their preconceived, politically correct, bought-off agenda, or because, folks, they're petrified. They're petrified of what might happen if they actually tell you what you need to know. This show is about your freedom, your political, your economic, your financial, and your health care freedom. I am honored to have back with me someone who is a very dear friend and someone who frankly has put her life on the line in bringing you information and constructing a financial security lifeboat for you, as does her entire company, the Camino Company. Since the inception of this radio show in October of 2010, almost 13 years ago, we have focused one of our main points of education and empowerment on what's really happening behind the curtain as it relates to your financial freedom and liberty. And my next guest has dedicated her life to that in providing you a lifeboat, an insurance policy lifeboat for a financial system that is not based and built on bedrock, but has been built on financial quicksand. Adriana Reed has been with the Camino Company since 2011 as a trader, and she's one of the principals in the Camino Company, Camino, C-A-M-I-N-O, CaminoCompany.com, and is one of the most knowledgeable and honest people in the precious metals arena. It is my honor to welcome back Adriana Reed. Adriana, welcome back to the Operation Freedom Show and platform.
Thanks for having me again, Dave.
Adriana, I want to start out with the willful, on many different levels and planes, the willful destruction of the dollar. You have addressed this issue for years.
Yeah.
Many people doubted you. Some people derided you for your analysis over the years. But now that we have a new player entering into the, if you will, trade currency market, that being the BRICS currencies, and they're shoving away the dollar further. It appears the warnings you have been giving the public for many years have, in fact, been many years ahead of the curve, because that's exactly what's happening. Your take, Adriana, on the recent BRICS meeting, and they're declaring the de-dollarization of trading currencies across the world.
Right. Dave, I think the BRICS meeting, it was super important this go around, probably more than any time in history. The reason being is because it's the first time that we've seen them take action on the adaptation that they're creating to, get rid of the dollar. I think the main concern that other countries are having, which, if I lived in another country, I would be on the same basis, is the U.S. debt clock is increasing heavily, and we keep spending money like it's nothing, and we keep printing money like it's nothing. At some point, if you flood the markets enough with a dollar, obviously it's going to cause inflation and all of the things that are going on, but I think other countries have reached the stand that they are sick and tired of how the U.S. is handling our economic situation as far as the dollar goes. We spend with no intention of balancing our books or saving. And I think that, as this continues, they want to have more power when they trade. And the BRICS is an opportunity for countries to trade across the board in their own currency. And as we've seen, Brazil has already actively started trading and doing so. I think their attack on the U.S. dollar comes on the basis of multiple things. Number one, I think you take out the dollar, I think you have a lot of control over the United States. Other countries will have more control over us than we think. That's number one. And number two, I believe that, our consumerism and everything that's going on in the U.S. is going down heavily. We see a lot of stagflation in our economy where, I don't believe the economic growth or getting by is going to work anymore. I think the third and fourth quarter could be very detrimental to families. And I think that we're seeing that with other countries. They're making this strong move where, this last printing that we've had, it's just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for other countries.
Putin addressed this BRICS meeting that occurred recently in South Africa, and he said the following when he addressed the summit. He emphasized that de-dollarization is gaining momentum. He said the dollar's receding global centrality is an objective and irreversible process. He actually also took a swipe at the position of the United States in their receding position, and the fact that as a new trading currency emerges, one that eventually will be backed in natural resources such as gold, silver, oil, natural gas, that there will be no use, if you will, or little use, or far less use for the dollar. All those trillions of dollars will then not have a use and will come flooding back into the United States, causing a hyperinflationary event. Adriana, this is something you've pointed out for years, and that people needed to protect themselves.
Absolutely. So what we're seeing, especially when you talk about hyperinflation, I think it's a very key word. What we're experiencing right now, we see, inflation, they put it, if you actually look, the CPI numbers have started going up again. Inflation is very, very difficult to control. It's not just we raised interest rates and we're all good now. That's not how this works. Inflation, it does reach the point of hyperinflation, and you can put yourself in a very detrimental situation. It's happened to multiple countries. If you saw Venezuela hit hyperinflation, there's also a lot of African countries that have experienced hyperinflation. Zimbabwe had $1 million notes at one point due to hyperinflation. Hyperinflation is detrimental to people's well-being and economic status of a country. And I do believe that the last thing that we can see is when this is implemented into the system, I think that's why our rating scores as a country, they're already pre-planning that our rating scores are starting to drop due to them implementing this in the near future.
So let's speak about, I mentioned several times today, the financial lifeboat, the insurance policy against a hyperinflationary environment, regarding an environment where the dollar no longer has world dominance.
Yeah.
Let's speak about that, because folks will never hear this information on Fox Business News or CNBS, as I call it, or in Bloomberg or Reuters or in the Wall Street Journal. Historically, Adriana, when we look at times of financial, if you will, let's be politically correct, financial uncertainty, let alone financial chaos, precious metals have been that lifeboat.
Absolutely.
Why would this time be any different than any other time over the past number of thousands of years in world history?
Absolutely. So this will be no different. And so I think I want to explain the basis of our industry a little bit deeper than I have in the past. The main reason, and we've talked about this multiple times, but digging a little bit deeper, we as a population and as a people, those that are on the ground, we cannot predict the day, the time that anything is going to happen. It's not possible. I am a believer that I believe only God knows what's going to happen, and I stand by that. So my industry, we can't guarantee that when these things are going to happen. The reason you need to get ahead of it is because we're an insurance policy, is we are insuring your cash. And I'm not saying that Armageddon's going to happen tomorrow. I'm not saying the time or a place, but if we look historically speaking, the economy naturally will have these cycles, and I believe that they're caused. They're not natural. Should they be natural if you have a true free market capitalist society? Yeah, you can have natural pullbacks, but because we're ran by the Federal Reserve and the powers that be, all of these crashes that have happened, I believe, are all on purpose. And so what we're going to do is we're digging deeper into your finances, saying, hey, we're going to make it so that I saw what happened in 2008 with how many people had to go back to work because their 401ks or their IRAs were lost, their homes were lost, their finances went down significantly, everything became more expensive. And what we're doing is we're preparing you to get through that with precious metals, because we work in opposition of the dollar. It's the same reason why all the BRICS countries are right now buying precious metals. Like you said, they're fortifying the value of their country. And they're saying we're never going to let our country devalue no matter what we do by buying precious metals.
So let's speak about how to do that. Because folks, when they finally decide, okay, I have to diversify into an financial insurance policy, that being not paper, physical gold, physical silver, they are constantly told by their brokers, by their Uncle Louie, by their neighbor Bob, that, well, this is very difficult to do, and just go and just for your insurance, just go buy some Netflix stock. Buy that. So educate our listeners, Adriana, on the most transparent process, most honest process I'm aware of what you folks do through Camino in ensuring folks' buying power stability with the use of precious metals.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can give us a call or you can go online. We're very transparent. We go over all the pricing. One of the main things is when we lock the prices in, the prices are locked at that time, and we do not change any of the prices. We speak to you. We'll give you a contract number. If you order online, you get a receipt, and all those prices are locked in at that time. Right now, my personal recommendations are that people own some gold and some silver. I do say, just prepare for worst case scenario in our country. That's why I really recommend that you have some silver at this time. I do like how stable gold is in comparison to silver, though. Silver runs a much more volatile market. So, those that are just trying to get their money out of the banking system, I think gold is a very fantastic way to hold. So I recommend that you have both at this time until, we see how this truly plays out. As far as gold items, you can go with gold eagles, maple leafs, kangaroos, cougarans. I mean, we have all types of products that will work for you. As we talk about regularly, I'm very adamant about obtaining the most ounces possible. We want to make sure that you're getting in at a very low premium as well. That's very important to me. With inflation being as high as it is, we don't want to pay any more than we need to for goods in general. On silver, I'm recommending that everybody owns some 1 ounce rounds. Those are going to be the privately minted material. I have seen over the past couple of weeks, Silver Eagles have come down significantly in their premiums. At one point, we were at $15 over. I think we're now at about 50% of that as far as the premiums go. Silver Eagles are available. You can also go into 10-ounce bars, 100-ounce bars. There's silver maple leafs, lots of different items. And then one of our favorite items, you and me, Dave, is the 90% silver, which is actually a really great way to explain inflation to people. Is pre-1965 halves, quarters, and dimes, were all made with 90% silver, and now they're also known as junk silver, which I think is kind of ironic. Those are great options to purchase on the silver side as well.
And Adriana, when folks purchase, they're constantly told that it's a difficult process. In fact, maybe some folks have that depending on dealing with other people, but you folks make it very easy, as you mentioned, and educate us again on the process. And then once folks get their physical insurance policy of gold and silver, what do they do with it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the process is very transparent. It's a lot easier than you think. It's just like you buying something at the store. What you're going to experience is you call, lock in the price, send payment, we send material. The process itself can take up to 2 to 3 weeks with transportation of everything. So that's also something to keep in mind. If you send a wire, it will go faster. It ships faster. And that's the current times as of now for turnaround times. When you receive your material, I'm very adamant about keeping it close to you. As we saw during COVID, there were individuals that couldn't get into their safety deposit boxes for 3 months. I also am a firm believer that just because you buy or rent a safety deposit box, just remember that the bank has the other key to your box. And therefore, I believe that they own more of it than you do, because I just am on the belief that if you buy it, you own it, it's yours, and no one else can take it from you. And that's why home storage is great. If you can get yourself a safe, I recommend a fireproof safe. That's one of the key things, too. I'm out in California myself, so we've experienced a lot of fires. I've had customers that have had homes burned down, and the fireproof safe is still standing with their metals in it, which has saved them their livelihood. With the metals inside, they used it to restart their lives. That's number one. Number two, I do believe in storing in a facility that is privately owned at this point in time. I think that that's a great option, but I'm very adamant that you do your research to understand. Go check out the facility if you can, or call me up. There are some facilities across the United States that I would recommend that have a great reputation. I know you utilize Brinks, but interestingly, Brinks has, I believe, stopped storing metals for people that are not in IRAs.
Well, and let's speak about the IRA side, right?
Yeah.
So many people say, well, I don't have, I'm just trying to make ends meet. I do have an IRA, but I'm told that I cannot purchase physical precious metals in an IRA.
Right.
Well, that's not exactly accurate, is it, Adriana?
No, that's not true at all. It's actually just not true at all. So you can purchase, it's just their brokerage company may not allow the purchase of physical precious metals. The reason being is because I believe the brokers need to keep their money on the books. That's one of the things that keeps these asset rollers rolling. And for me, what I do is we experience a transaction together. I am no longer part of your books. You're no longer part of my books. We just have the purchase on file. But other than that, I'm not taking care of your funds or anything of the sort. Those are your funds. That's your money. It belongs to you. as far as IRAs go, they run the same ideology, is that the minute that transaction happens is you are no longer going to be necessarily on their books where they can use that money and refilter money of the sort so that they can keep their, functions going. So as far as it goes, you can do a rollover. I'm very adamant about using self-directed IRA companies. Because I believe that you should be the one making the purchase, not me, not a broker. That way we can talk about what you want. We can talk about the different items you can use for IRAs. I do believe that at this point in time, I would recommend having a portion of your IRA within precious metals, physical assets, I say. The reason being is because I do think that I don't believe this is over as far as the economy goes. I think they're trying to play it off like we're going to skate by, and I beg to differ. I think that unfortunately things will get a little bit worse before they get better, and we need to prepare you for that so that you can live a full life as you've worked all of your life to save that money. It would break my heart if you lost it all because of the system.
And Adriana, if folks, you're available for folks to speak with them about which IRAs can go where and depositories and the like, correct?
Absolutely. So we'll go over the different brokers that I use, and I also am very adamant that you do your research on the brokers as well, because I myself can only speak for my own company. I've had great experience with these companies that I do recommend, and I stand by that. But, in these times, I'm very adamant that we all are very aware of what we're getting ourselves into, who we're working with, and just because, like any industry, you have to always make sure you're doing your research and that you're secure in what you're doing.
And how do folks get in touch with you to have that discussion?
Absolutely. So I do have to say things are a little bit tricky right now. We did just move to a new location. Our new address is listed on our website and our Google. The other thing is our 800 number is currently being transferred over. So it is down for the time being, and they'll be up in about 7 days at this point in time, so about a week out. So I'm going to give an alternate number to what we normally say as of today. You can reach me at 650-348-3000 until the 800 number has returned. You can also email me at Adriana, Adriana, at CaminoCompany.com, spell it all the way out. You can head to our website as well at CaminoCompany.com. Under the Contact Us, there's also a contact page where you can list all of your information, and one of the traders will do a call back to you when we receive your information.
Give that phone number again until the 800 number comes back.
Yeah, absolutely. 650-348-3000.
648-3000. 650-648-3000.
Yeah, let's say it one more time. 650-348-3000.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. 650-348-3000. Adriana, I'd like to thank you for everything you have done, are doing, and will do. One of my biggest concerns, Adriana, is folks say, well, I can't afford an ounce of silver, so instead I'm going to buy a 4-cent digital currency of some kind. And it's like, okay, you don't have enough for an ounce of gold, I get it, but there's always silver. And you could purchase a number of ounces of silver, which is an excellent foundation of a lifeboat.